Magandang araw sa inyong lahat. Ako si Tongson. Ako ay teacher or faculty member ng Department of Family Life and Child Development sa College of Home Economics, University of the Philippines Diliman. Ako rin ang Deputy Director for Training, Outreach and Extension Program Unit of the Center for Women's and Gender Studies. Ngayong araw na to, pag-uusapan natin ang gender fair language at bakit ba mahalaga na gumagamit tayo ng gender fair language sa pagkolekta ng datos, sa pakikipag-usap sa ating mga kakilala, sa ating mga katrabaho at sa ating mga kliyente o pinaglilingkuran. Ngayong araw na ito, mag-uusap tayo tungkol sa gender fair language. Yan. Okay? So, tingnan natin, no? Nakikita nyo ba ito? Bakit kaya noong 2019, pagbukas pa lang ng 18th Congress, may ganito ng komento na natanggap si Senator Risa Ontiveros sa isang lalaki sa Twitter. Sabi ng Twitter user na ito, "Dress appropriately. There is a time and a place to dress like a thirsty slut and a senator of the republic. #coverup. #SONA 2019. Bakit kaya? Dahil kaya ito sa kanyang maigsing damit? Dahil kaya sa kanyang pag-upo? O dahil sa babae siya at dapat ang babae ay nagbibihis at umuupo base sa kung ano ang gusto ng mga kalalakihan? Ang mga ganitong komento ay sexist at nagpapakita ng hindi pantay na pagtingin sa mga babae at lalaki at nagpapahiwatig ng male supremacy. Pero ano nga ba ang ibig sabihin ng sexist language o comments? O di ba malimit nating naririnig ng, uy, wag naman ganyan ang iyong komento, napaka-sexist naman yan. O kaya napaka-sexist naman ang sinabi niya, di ba? So ano ba ang ibig sabihin ng sexist language at bakit mahalaga na alam natin ito? Lalong-lalo na kung tayo ay magkakaroon ng data collection, gagawa tayo ng isang database, ano ba yung mga dapat nating pakaingatan para hindi tayo nagkakaroon ng sexist language or sexist comments? Okay, tingnan natin. Sabi ng mga pag-aaral, sexist language reinforces the ideas that women are inferior to men. It grants men more power and higher social status, and women should be subject to moral standards differently. Kapareho nung komento kay Senator Risa doon sa unang slide natin, no? So, pero ang sinasabi ng mga pag-aaral, the nature of sexism is ambivalent. Studies show that the nature of sexism is, of course, ambivalent, and Glick and Fiske pointed out that sexism includes both seemingly negative and hostile attitudes and seemingly positive or benevolent attitudes towards women. Hostile sexism refers to an antagonistic view of gender relations in which women are treated with great loathing or aggressiveness. Parang para ka namang thirsty slut o kaya yung naririnig natin parati, mura ng mura. Di ba? Bakit pa yung mga nanay natin ang parating minumura? And of course, aggressive, no? Yung parang, bakit ganyan ka magbihis? Di yan ugali ng babae, no? Those are types of hostile sexism. Meanwhile, benevolent sexism is attractive ideologically for many women because they may find it difficult to resist the appeal of sexism in such form. These are believed to be patronizing to women. Also, Glick and Fiske argued that ambivalence of sexism beliefs validates and maintains the prevailing inequalities by accepting that women are pure and weak who need protection at all times. Benevolent sexism rewards women who adhere to traditionally feminine rules and norms and accepts men's dominance and power. On the other hand, hostile sexism penalizes women who challenge men's dominance and power. Kaya makikita rin natin sa mga pag-aaral, yung benevolent sexism mas attractive siya. Kasi kung iisipin nyo nga naman, sino ba naman ang hindi gustong makatanggap ng papuri or kaya ng comment na, uy, ang sexy-sexy mo talaga. O bakit ang kinis-kinis ng balat mo? Or good girl ka, no? So ito ay appealing sa maraming mga babae. Sabi ng mga pag-aaral yan. At syempre, pero dahil doon, nakikita din natin na parang, uy, bakit ba yung mga babae, binavalue lang natin sila at nakadepende lang yung sa pag-value natin sa kanilang itsura o sa kanilang pagiging masunurin at mahinhin. So kapag nakakarinig tayo ng mga ganyang komento, ito ay isang uri ng sexist language o sexist comment. Kaya regardless kung ito ay hostile or benevolent, hindi ito nakakabuti sa pagtrato natin at sa mga babae, at syempre ito ay nakakadagdag din doon sa pagbagal ng pag-achieve natin ng gender equality. Ngayon, understanding further. So siguro sa mga inyong mga nakaraang pag-uusap or pagkikita, no, sa mga nakaraang lecture, narinig nyo na itong intersectionality na ito, no, na hindi lamang ito tungkol sa sex assigned at birth or kaya yung kanyang gender, kung hindi, lahat ng mga intersectional identities kapareho ng kanyang disability, ng kanyang religion, ng kanyang edad, no? At pati yung mahirap ba siya o mayaman ba siya ba ay indigenous person, yung paggamit nitong mga salita na ito ay nakakaroon ng harmful impact doon sa iba't ibang klaseng tao. So tatandaan lang natin, the harmful impact of sexism can be worse for some women and men due to their ethnicity, age, disability, social origin, religion, gender identity, sexual orientation, and other factors. Pero paano nga ba nagkaroon ng sexist language? Paano ba ito nagkaroon ng ganitong pagtingin o paggamit ng pananalita, no, sa kakausap natin sa mga babae, sa mga LGBT? Kasi sinasabi natin that it's the way gender is encoded in the language may be associated with societal roles. Ano bang ibig sabihin natin ng societal or gender roles, no? Gender roles are defined how males and females act, speak, dress, groom, and conduct themselves at home, in school, and in the community. And of course, the iconic representations of femininity in childhood are toys, especially dolls and cook sets, ribbons, and practically every item in pink. On the other hand, masculinity is represented by toys for boys, which includes cars, guns, robots, and items in different shades of blue. Many studies, including my recent study on gender development of Filipino children, found out that as early as the preschool years, children's answers regarding their concepts of gender have traces of traditional gender roles as manifested in their toy and color preferences. Parang bakit ba kailangan pag blue, lalaki, pag pink, babae, no? Hindi naman natin dapat nililimitahan yung kulay ng pink ay pang babae lamang, kasi ang pink ay pwede ring ginagamit ng mga lalaki, ng LGBT. So kailangan ang color ay color dahil hindi naman ito dapat nagpapakita kung ano ang iyong gender. Kaya nga sinasabi natin dapat iwasan na natin ang pagkakaroon ng gender reveal, kasi mula pa man sa pagkabata, hindi pa man tayo pinapanganak, ay nakakahon na kaagad tayo dun sa kulay kung ikaw ba ay blue o pink. So, titingnan natin ano ba ang mga examples ng sexist language or sexist comments. Ito, unsolicited comments on somebody else's body, age, skin, color, disability, religion, and SOGI. So parang pag-iisipin natin, bakit ba tarang mga tao parating nakatingin or parating nilang tinatanong, uy, ikaw ba ay mataba o mapayat? Marami ka na bang wrinkles sa muka? Diba? O kaya, ay, okay, may bago siyang may bago siyang kasintahan. Maganda ba siya? Matalino siya? Hindi ko naman tinatanong kung matalino siya eh. Tinatanong ko kung maganda siya. So bakit ba parati tayong nakatingin dun sa itsura ng mga tao? So tatandaan natin, unsolicited comments. Kung hindi naman tinatanong kung ano ang kanyang itsura, kung ano ang kulay ng kanyang balat, no? Hindi na natin ito dapat nagko-komento. For sure, pagkatapos ng lahat ng pandemya na ito at lockdown na ito, ang unang-unang titingnan ng mga tao ay kung pumayat ba tayo o hindi. So iwas-iwasan na natin yung mga unsolicited comments tungkol sa ating mga katawan. No? Ito pa, insults masquerading as jokes. Bakit ba ang mga Pinoy, no? Ang hilig-hilig sa rape jokes, ang hilig-hilig sa green jokes. No? Tatandaan natin, kay rape jokes yan or sex jokes yan, yan ay hindi dapat na ginagawa or sinasabi kasi it's a form of sexist language. Ito pa, devaluing women's and LGBTQI individuals' views or voice. like comments that denote double standards. Pwedeng pinapakinggan nyo yung LGBT, pwedeng pinapakinggan nyo yung babae, pero hindi nyo naman siya, i-dismiss nyo naman yung kanyang mga sinasabi. So it's also devaluing their views or voice. Ito role stereotyping, sasabihin ng mga tao, uy, mabuti, meron mang babae sa grupo, mag-aayos na yung opisina natin. Ayan, mga babae, sila na ang bahala sa pagkain. O kaya, yung mga lalaki naman, sila na ang bahalang mag-errands, no? O kaya magbuhat, no? So ito yung tinatawag natin na role stereotyping. And of course, unmerited gender labeling. Meaning to say, emphasis ulit, no? Unmerited gender labeling. Meaning to say, hindi naman natin hinihingi yun sa kanila. Pero bakit tayo tinatawag na sexy, good girl, darling, sweetie, or babe? Well, siguro kung kayo ay nasa isang relasyon at ang tawagan ninyo ay darling at sweetie and babe, hindi naman yun unmerited, di ba? Kasi pinag-usapan nyo naman yun. So, tatandaan natin kapag may sexist language, ito yung mga iba't ibang pamantayan para malaman natin kung kung ang sinasabi ba ay sexist language o hindi. Tapos, syempre, si Dr. Quintanar ng Center for Women's and Gender Studies ay English teacher galing sa UP College of Arts and Letters. At gumawa siya ng isang primer tungkol sa gender fair language. Sabi niya, may mga iba't ibang uri or kinds of sexist language. Unang-una na dan, terms beginning and ending in man. Yan ang inikiling natin dyan, i-laymanish naman natin yan. Bakit layman ang ginagamit? Di ba meron din namang babae na pwedeng maging bahagi ng ating pag-aaral o kaya bahagi ng mga sinulat natin at kailangan makabasa ng ating mga pag-aaral. So bakit natin sinasabi na, gawin mo namang popular yan para naman maintindihan ng layman or kaya ng man on the street. So Dr. Quintanar suggested using layperson, non-specialist. Manhood, pwede naman sabihin womanhood. Pero tatandaan natin, pag sinasabi nating womanhood, ginagawa din nating invisible ang manhood. So instead of saying manhood and womanhood, let us use adulthood or maturity. And then of course, in gender, and language lecture, alam naman natin na hindi lahat ng tao ay nakaka-relate dun sa term na man at woman kasi marami mga gender non-conforming individuals. So, instead of saying manhood or womanhood, adulthood and maturity. Ito, manpower, gilig-gilig tayo niyan, di ba? Kailangan namin ng 6 na manpower sa project na ito. Pero pag tiningnan mo, 6 na babae, 3 lalaki. Bakit manpower? Bakit nagiging default yung manpower? So, Dr. Quintanar suggested using human resources, staff, or personnel. Kaya, kung meron pa kayong mga terms na manpower sa inyong opisina, tanggalin nyo na yan kasi hindi yun gender fair. Man-made o man-made leather. So, instead of saying man-made leather or man-made pool, let us say machine-made, synthetic, or artificial. Mankind, instead of saying mankind, let us use humankind, people, or person. Now, ito, isa pa, beginning and ending in man, chairman. Mahilig tayo dyan, chairman of the board. Paano naman yung mga babae? Chairwoman. Hindi na naman. Diba? So, we have to be inclusive. Therefore, we should use chairperson, representative, for congresswoman and congressman, freshman. Ito, diba? Anong year na yung anak mo? Freshman. Bakit? Babae, lalaki ba yung anak mo? Hindi po, babae. So, bakit natin sinasabi na freshman? So, instead, we should use freshie, first-year student. Kaya kung meron kayo, for example, na datos, na checklist kung paano ba, magsasurvey ba kayo, hindi natin nilalagay yung freshman. Lalagay natin freshie or first-year student. Policeman and policewoman, let us say police officer, or law enforcer. Firewoman, fireman, let us use firefighter. Fisherman, fisher folks are fisher. And construction foreman, let us just use construction supervisor. Another type of, sexist language, according to Dr. Quintanar, is the singular masculine pronoun he, his, or him. Parati yan. Kahit ano pa, kahit may memo o kaya mayroong operations manual, kahit yung operations manual or yung memo na yun ay para sa lahat ng empleyado, bakit ginagawa nating default yung his, him, or he? Bakit kaya? No? Kaya parang ginagawa na naman nating invisible yung mga babae at iba pang mga gender. No? So, sinasabi din, instead of saying everyone showed his vaccination card, everyone showed vaccination. Alright? And then, we can say, each person, sinasabi natin dito na each person should, a participant must present his ID badge or participants must present their ID badges. Ito pa isa, the singular masculine pronouns he, his, or him. No? Instead of saying everyone showed his vaccination card, we can say everyone showed the vaccination card. Hindi na natin kailangan na magkaroon ng pronoun na he, his, or him. Kasi hindi naman lahat ng tao, lalo na yung mga gender non-conforming individuals, ay nakaka-relate dito sa his, him, or he. Right? So instead of saying each participant must present his ID badge, all participants must present their ID badges. Kasi yung mga gender non-conforming individuals, mas gusto nila na ginagamit yung pronoun na their. At alam nyo ba, na kahit sa international publication or sa academic publication, kapag hindi natin alam kung ano ang pronoun na ginagamit ng ating mga participants, ang sinasuggest nilang gamitin ay their. Kahit isang tao lang ang pinag-uusapan dito. Now, the use of he or she, he/her to recognize females and women. Pero alam nyo, sinasabi ng mga English teachers na hindi rin ito kasi okay dahil ang hirap basahin. Diba? Tingnan nyo, when the winner has been announced, he or she will move to the next round of the competition. O kaya, he/she should present his/her proposal for the livelihood project to get funding from the local government unit. Diba parang ang hirap basahin, tapos parang hindi natin maintindihan ano ba talagang gusto nating sabihin dito. So to make the language inclusive and gender sensitive, no, pwede naman nating sabihin na wag na tayong gumamit ng pronoun. Sabihin na lang natin, when the winner has been announced, the winner will move to the next round of the competition. Or kung hindi talaga natin alam, edi pwede naman natin gamitin yung pronoun na they, their, at them. Example, ito, they should present their proposal for the livelihood project to get funding from the local government unit. Accepted na po yun na kahit isang tao lang ang pinag-uusapan natin, no, ay pwede nating gamitin yung pronoun na their, them, at their, no, at syempre yung ating subject-verb agreement ay dapat plural. Tama. Hindi natin pwedeng sabihin they is, no? Kailangan they are. Right. Now, another one ito, nung tayo ay nasa elementary at high school, sinabi ng mga English teachers natin, i-memorize yung feminine at masculine noun. Kaya meron tayong waitress, directress, stewardess, no, actress, no, aviatrix at mediatrix, no. Pero sinasabi ni Dr. Quintanar, itong mga to, no, these a type of language that trivializes women and diminishes their stature. So instead of saying waitress, we should use service crew, food server, no? And of course, directress, director, flight attendant for stewardess, or cabin crew for stewardess, no? And then, of course, regardless kung babae ba o lalaki yung artista, in English, we should call them actor. Okay? And then, aviatrix, regardless of the sex and gender, we can say aviator. And then, for mediatrix, we can say mediator, no? So, hindi na kailangang nilalagyan ng mga, yung mga feminine suffixes na yan. That's already acceptable. Ito pa, according to Dr. Quintanar, no, the language that fosters an equal gender relation is a kind of sexist language. Parang man and wife, men and ladies. Kung tutuusin natin tong man and wife, ito ay isang uri ng benevolent sexism. Bakit? Yung mga lalaki kailangan na alagaan yung mga wives nila. Bakit men and ladies? Is it because the ladies need to be prim and proper? So it's a form of benevolent sexism. So instead of saying man and wife, let us say husband and wife. Or to be more inclusive, let us say what? Spouses. No? Ito, use of terms that call attention to person's sex in designating occupations or work. Delivery boy. O bakit naman delivery boy? Paano naman yung mga delivery girls, no? Motherhood. Why not say fatherhood? Syempre, we are also not discounting the fact that regardless of whether you're a father or a mother, you're capable of taking care of your children. And instead of just saying delivery boys or delivery girls, let us say what? Delivery crew. Now, female engineers, female architects, male nurse, male OB-GYN, female soldier, male lawyer. These are all terms that call attention to the person's sex in designating occupations. So we hope that through this session, we should be able to just use the term engineer or lawyer. So because regardless of your sex and gender, you can be the best engineer or you can be the best lawyer because you're trained to do that anyway. Okay, now, so as an interest of public inquiry, there are many terms used for this particular interest. Yung ibang organization, ang gamit ay gender fair language like what? The Center for Women's and Gender Studies. Some scholars, groups, or individuals like the trans women and trans men prefer to use gender affirmative language. In my recent international publication, my editor suggested using gender equal language. So regardless of the term used, we need to make the language a language of possibility as a response to structural asymmetry and reduce gender stereotyping and discrimination. Now, how do we create an inclusive gender transformative workplace, community, and organization? I know that you're tasked to collect data from people. So, paano ba natin gagawing inclusive ang ating mga tools? Paano ba natin gagawing inclusive ang ating database? Unang-una, number one is we're not supposed to show somebody else's soji. Kahit na nag-i-interview tayo, nagko-collecta tayo ng datos at feeling natin parang gay ba siya o lesbian ba siya, hindi natin yun ina-assume. At hindi rin natin sila tinatanong. That's why it's really very important to respect the labeled at a gender non-conforming individual used to describe their identity. So kung nagtatanong tayo sa mga tao kung ano ang kanilang gender at sinabi nila trans woman ako, hindi na natin pinagdududahan yun. Okay? Hindi na natin tinatanong bakit ka trans woman, no? Because we need to respect that kind of labeling that they want to use to describe who they are. And of course, if we don't know what name or pronouns to use, we have to ask and then we have to listen and then ask. It's really very important. But in our experience, not everyone will be comfortable being asked about their pronouns. Yung iba, hindi talaga sila sanay. So, kailangan lang natin na itanong, okay lang po ba kung ano po yung pronoun na ginagamit ninyo? Okay. Pero, sabi ko nga sa inyo, hindi lahat ng tao ay komportable or siguro dahil first time nila matanong, parang, bakit po tinatanong yung pronoun ko? So, it's important really to listen. And then, don't ask a transgender or gender non-conforming person what their legal name is. Di na natin sinasabi, ano yung totoo mong pangalan? Kasi ang totoo nilang pangalan, yung ginagamit nila na pangalan ngayon. And then, we don't have to ask about their genitalia, their surgical status, or their sex life. Because these are very personal matters to gender non-conforming individuals. So kung alam natin yung legal name ng tao, hindi na natin ito kinakalat, lalo na may database tayo. Siyempre nakalagay yung legal name, di ba? So we don't move around people telling what others about the legal name of this particular respondent. Kaya kailangan yung confidentiality din, iniingatan natin sa pagkokolekta ng datos. Now, next is of course, be careful about confidentiality disclosure or outing, no? And then we have to educate ourselves and understand the differences between transgender people, lesbian, gay, and bisexual people. And then we have to challenge also anti-women and anti-LGBT remarks or jokes in public spaces and support causes and issues important to women and LGBTQI individuals such as all gender or trans-inclusive toilets and anti-discrimination harassment policy. So, paano ba natin i-apply itong be careful about confidentiality and disclosure and outing in the database? Abay, dapat pangalagaan natin yun. Kasi, it's really very important for people, especially for the trans women and the trans men, not to be not to be exposed to other people. Di na nila gustong balikan kung sino sila, yung legal names na tinatawag nila, no? Kaya kailangan pangalagaan natin yung ating mga datos. At pagkatapos, syempre, dahil nagko-collecta tayo ng datos, baka naman pwede nyo nang ilagay dun sa datos ninyo, ano ba tong kanyang gender, no? Paano ba natin ito gagawin sa ating mga forms? Paano natin i-document kung ilan ba ang lesbian, ilan ang person with disability, ilan ang LGBT, no, sa ating komunidad. And of course, it's really very important that when we have this data, we are able to use them to the benefit of this LGBT groups or women. Kasi meron na tayong datos, kinolekta natin ito sa kanila. And then, of course, it's also very important, no, to be a safe space for women and LGBT. So, pag nakokolekta tayo ng datos, ina-assure natin na yung datos na yon ay pangangalagaan natin. And the questions that we will ask, no, during the data collection would be very important, no? At saka, it should be a safe space also, especially when we are collecting data from marginalized groups. And then, treat, no, women and LGBTQI employees, students, and every other employee, student, or person with respect and without bias. Okay? And then, thank you very much. Maraming salamat po at magandang araw sa inyong lahat.